Hello there, welcome to my channel. I am Ashley Marshall. I am here to do a full moon in Cancer reading for all 12 signs of the zodiac. I will let you know what house this full moon in Cancer occurs for you by rising sign, but I do encourage you to watch for sun and moon as well so that you can get all of the juicy information on how this full moon might affect you. Of course, a full moon can play out over the next 6 months. So if you're not feeling the energy now, or the message that's coming through for you now is not resonating, then it may soon. Okay, we have Mercury retrograde, we also have Venus retrograde, so communication, partnerships, relationships, feelings all might feel like a struggle right now. So always just really leaning into lots of self-care and giving yourself lots of love at this time can be really helpful. So we're going to start with Cancer. Cancer, this full moon in Cancer is occurring in your first house. So that's the house of self, of appearances, beginning, your body, first impressions, how you approach life and your identity and ego. So you may really be seeing some shifts in that area of your life, which is a huge area of life, how you go about life. Okay, so you receive 2 tarot cards and 1 message card from your ancestor. So 5 of waters compared to cups in the tarot can be a challenging card. 5 is usually the number of challenges, things not turning out the way you hoped, not seeing the positive in a situation, crying over spilled milk. I actually really see this for a lot of Cancers as moving over a hurdle, okay? Could be a hurdle with identity, with ego, with self-image, maybe you're shedding some of those things. Full moons are about closings, endings, right? So it could be like a shedding of some of those things. Really the first house, since it rules your approach to life and your identity, it could be a way that you thought you were going to be presenting yourself to people, living your life, didn't turn out the way that you had thought. I really do see this as a past card though, because it did come out also with the 9 of Earth. Earth is pentacles, so material possessions, the things that we value, finances, the things that we build and create. Okay, water is cups, that mostly has to do with our emotions, possibly relationships. So 9 of Earth is enjoying life's little luxuries, spending quiet time alone, successful self-employment. So I do see that lots of Cancers are really coming over this hurdle and this hump. This 5 of water here, there are 3 spilled cups, but there are 2 still standing. So I'm thinking that if this full moon hasn't already ushered this in, for many Cancers it'll be about turning lemons into lemonade, right? That kind of energy. I see this as past, and with the full moon in Cancer, already exact and already here, but still playing out over the next several months, that the challenging emotions, the challenges are in the past, and you are able to enjoy a little luxury, spending time alone on or around this full moon. Even if you're in a house full of other people, just getting 5 minutes to shower or to take a walk, anything like that, I think will be very beneficial for Cancer, sun, moon, and risings. I think that this full moon in Cancer is going to highlight your role as an entrepreneur. Okay, I do see a lot of Cancers like going into business for themselves, beginning to work at home, and if there were any challenges in the past, if there were any past business ideas that turn out the way that you hope, realize that just because they're not turning out the way that you thought they were doesn't mean that things aren't in motion all the time, working out for your benefit. And that's what I really see for the full moon in Cancer, for Cancers coming to you, right? Okay, so this idea of maybe this way that you were living your life or presenting yourself, or business. I'm also seeing like business a lot for Cancers too. Shifted and changed. It wasn't how you thought. It didn't go as planned. Does anything ever? But just because it doesn't go as planned doesn't mean it's not going to turn out positive. And you are going to move into a place, again, earth rules, finances. I think of being able to support yourself financially through successful self-employment, through entrepreneurship. Okay, I see Cancers moving into that role. Also some full moon possibilities if this isn't resonating, since the first house rules, if this isn't resonating, the first house rules appearances, so there may be some shifts to appearances. It is Venus retrograde, so we're not really encouraged to do anything new. But regardless, I think many Cancers are going to be coming out of this full moon with a new identity, new appearances, new mannerisms, new way of presenting themselves to the world. And the message from your ancestors, solidness, mineral. We're in Mercury retrograde, so it can be a great time to review, to reassess. And the mineral ancestor card really, as a message from your ancestor, it's calling on you to see in what areas of your life are you solid? Are you grounded? Are things stable? Where are they not? Okay, checking in with those, using this Mercury retrograde time to make those shifts and changes, or just to become aware. And the full moon might really usher in this need for security, this need for solidness amongst your relationships, in your life, and for you to feel solid and grounded. Okay, maybe some nervous system education, maybe some grounding tools to help you. I'm also hearing like visiting rock formations, bringing rocks and minerals into your life and into your day can also be really beneficial. I see some Cancers hiking in the desert, maybe spending some alone time out, in some area maybe where they have large crystals, or like Utah, Arizona, these desert areas with very famous rock formations. You may be called to go visit these, to read up on these, to harness the energy of these. Again, I'm also hearing like if you want to bring more rocks, crystals into your life. I can't think of it now. I have a wood crystal or wood rock, anything that's like brown that represents something sturdy and grounded. Also seeing lots of feet hit the pavement. So again, with the idea of hiking, going out and putting, if you are still working with some of this energy here of this anger, because anger is really sadness, right? Crying over spilled milk. And go ahead and cry if you need to. Maybe cry and hit that pavement. But, allowing the earth, allowing the rock, the minerals, that solid thing to take some of the sadness, to take some of the pain as you walk and you walk off this energy coming through. Okay, so that's what I see for Cancers, first house, full moon. For Leos, this full moon in Cancer occurred in the 12th house for you, so double emphasis on endings, healing, closure, spirituality, time spent doing spiritual practices. The 12th house also rules solitude and any places or practices that we do or go to for solitude. It also rules, you know, the time that we spent in the womb, past lives, karma, and the subconscious. So sometimes it can hold our limiting beliefs, and that's why it's known as the house of self-undoing. So Leo, sun, moon, and rising, 8 of fire. Fire is wands, so movement, passion, taking actions, events moving at a fast pace, delays are over, many things are happening at once. So what I'm really hearing for Leo is enjoy this full moon, enjoy this solitude, enjoy meditating, taking time, hermiting away while you can, because the full moon is going to usher in a lot of newness for you. Because what happens at the 12th house is you're going to be ushered into the first house where, you know, it is ruled by Mars, which is fire planet, right? And we're dealing with fire here. So where there was slowness maybe leading up to this full moon and delays and maybe things not moving forward, and Leo maybe doesn't want to spend a lot of time in solitude, since they are a fire sign. They want to be going and moving, right? Ruled by the sun. So really being called here to enjoy this full moon energy, to really lean into this time spent either, like I said, maybe meditating out in nature. This card can also indicate sudden travel, so there may be a trip coming up, unexpected, that happens with this full moon in Cancer. Really calls on you again to use this time wisely and to stay grounded, to also bring this energy of this full moon in Cancer where you are maybe going on a retreat or doing a breathwork workshop, something like that. Not leaving this energy in the past, but bringing it with you as things begin to pick up, because you're going to need that groundedness once things are busy, right? We're always wanting things to be busy, 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 and lots going on and lots of opportunity, but we often forget that that brings with it its own problems, and sometimes the universe is keeping us in one phase because it knows that we're not quite ready to take on what we are saying we want to take on. So air, breath, breathe. Okay, Leo, you're really being called to, like I said, take a breathwork workshop, to use this full moon energy that's in the 12th house for you, which rules solitude, in solitude as much as you feel called to, okay? And yes, you know, this card is about, you know, possible breath work, doing like a free YouTube breath work one. I know there's a great one on there that I like to do, especially when I was beginning, but also checking and being mindful and aware of your breath throughout the day. Okay, I'm also hearing like how you're sitting as I lean over to talk. I'm not sitting properly at all. Really check in with yourself throughout the day, because we often as humans tend to breathe really shallow. And when things start to move fast and you are going fast and you have a lot of things going on, what tools, what resources are you going to have at your disposal to help you through this busy time? Okay, again, it's easy to want things to move fast and to be moving forward, and they are going to be on or around this full moon and for the next 6 months. Having tools at your disposal, reminding yourself of the very luscious, delicious tool of breathing, of checking your breath, of being mindful, you know? Like I said, you can take a course of course, but it's something that you can also do on your own and access on your own, which I think is really important to make things doable. Like if you feel overwhelmed when I say take a course, like, oh my gosh, I've already taken so many or whatever, you're not prepared to make the financial commitment, like doing your own research to find out what is out there in order for you to do these things on your own. Okay, Virgo, 11th house of groups, friends, humanitarianism, also technology, and it's also where, you know, like we have our hopes and dreams reside in the 11th house. So King of Earth, generous, professional, responsible, practical, a successful time. Confidently accept opportunities you're offered, the Midas touch. So I see this as a really positive card with positive energy for you Virgos, with some opportunities coming through. They may be public opportunities that put you back out in the public. They may require you to work with technology. It may be a shift in your social media presence, and really just like honing in this energy that you know what you're doing, okay? You have the information, you have the education, you have the know-how. Of course, tap in and make sure that the offer resonates, but I'm really hearing like a yes. Accept things as they come to you. Be generous. Be humble, right, in your acceptance of these things now, and just really bask and enjoy. Like I said, some of these opportunities could be to be back out in the public. It could be social work, working with the community in some way. And just a reminder, to bring your grace and your gratitude to this position. You don't want to get, too egotistical about it. The Midas touch. Yes, you have the Midas touch. Yes, you know what you're doing. But bringing generosity and gratitude to these new offers and positions will really take you a long way. And the message from your ancestor, creativity, artist. So what I see this as is really you're the creator. You are the artist of your life, right? And so if you're feeling like you don't really resonate with opportunities coming through and being offered things, remember that you're always bringing these opportunities to yourself through your thoughts. How do you want to paint your world? Okay? And maybe even actually doing like a vision board activity, or a vision boarding activity, or an actual painting where you paint your future. You paint what you want your future to be, because that's essentially what you're doing. So your ancestors are reminding you that you are the artist of your life. You are the creator, okay? I'm also hearing like on or around this full moon, like tapping back into creative pursuits might be really beneficial and helpful for you. The opportunities that might come to you may be artistic opportunities. I'm hearing like mixed with technology. So really not my lane, so I don't want to try to create something, but thinking like doing artwork for a website, things like that. So that might be happening for lots of Virgos, starting their own Instagram page for their drawings, for their paintings, for their work, okay? And it doesn't have to just be art. I am hearing a heavy emphasis on that for some Virgos, but maybe your art is writing. Maybe your art is, how about that great account, and there might be a couple now, but that takes old trolls and puts crystals in their heads. So, not limited to just paintbrush to paper. Okay? That's what I'm hearing for Virgo. Libra, this full moon is going to occur for you in the 10th house of career and public image. 8 of air, an illusion of feeling trapped, a lack of confidence, afraid to take action. Air is the suit of swords when we are comparing it to tarot. So mental capacity, thoughts, communication. So this full moon might highlight a need for communication, your unhappiness, to communicate your unhappiness at work. Okay. I'm also hearing for Libra, sun, moon, and rising, it may not just be like you're unhappy at work. Maybe you are ready for a shift in your public image. Okay, let's see. You got another tarot card, so let's see what came up with that. Life experience, Archangel Chamuel. Excuse me. A significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings. Okay, so this full moon happening in your 10th house of career might really have a major shift to your, again, public image and or career, right? And I'm seeing that it may free you from feeling trapped in your job or trapped in this image of yourself, maybe, for example, on like social media, or how you present yourself to the world, or how you're known in your local community, really. Okay, because it's 10th house also rules like our reputation. Okay, it also rules men, fathers, and some people say that, mothers interchangeably. So there may be something coming up with that, like maybe you don't feel trapped at work or in a public image. Maybe you feel trapped in a relationship with a man in your life, or just trapped trying to communicate. I do think that this full moon in Cancer will bring a powerful revelation to you, right? And maybe it comes from being, releasing this, being fed up from feeling this way, right? So I'm really hearing, if you've been wanting to make a career change, if you've been wanting to leave a job, this is really like strong validation to do so, right? To spread your wings, to do what you have been feeling called to do. This card is really a representation of liberation. So it's really interesting that it comes to you with the 8 of air. So you might simultaneously be feeling this, or the liberation might come after the full moon in Cancer, I hope for you. And it really is kind of like about rapid growth and rapid change. So you might not even be doing anything. It might just be ushered in with the full moon on its own. Yeah, so it's really about gaining freedom and almost kind of having an awakening from something. So again, men, fathers in your life, male energy that you feel like has been holding you back, trapping you, a career position, a public image that you feel trapped in, that you really want to shift and change. I see that, really coming through. And the message from your ancestors, support, caregiver. So if I'm really hearing that for many Libras, sun, moon, and rising, particularly rising, that this shift in career that maybe you've been wanting to do is to shift into the role of caregiver, supporter, okay? This is validation of that, right? You were meant to do this. You were meant to caretake. You were meant to support. It's something that comes naturally to you. Wanted to see if there was anything else coming through. It doesn't necessarily, you know, have to be like in the nursing capacity. Maybe you're a coach, maybe you're an oracle reader, maybe you are a consultant that goes into businesses and supports employees, you know, in the way that they're not getting from their management teams, right? It can come in so many different forms, and I think it will for many of the Libra showing up. But I think that this significant life event from this full moon in Cancer, whatever it is, whatever comes up, hopefully pushing you in the direction of, gently guiding, not pushing you, in the direction of becoming, yes, this beautiful caretaker. I'm also getting like healing energy, coach energy too. Okay. So that's what I am feeling for Libra. Scorpio. This full moon in Cancer is occurring for you in your 9th house of long distance travel, philosophy, also publishing, higher education, so college, university, law, religion. And Scorpio, you got 7 of fire, so 7 of wands, action, passion, defend your beliefs and desires, stand your ground, choose your battles wisely. So maybe this full moon in Cancer finds you at a crossroads or having to defend something. And this card comes to you as validation that not necessarily that this is a battle worth fighting, because it does, you know, give that the last sentence, choose your battles wisely. But that if it is something that you truly stand in faith and morality with, to follow that, okay? You may not be the most popular, okay? You may not, and everyone may not agree with you. There may even be some people who are mad at you, okay? But it's really a call to, if you find this to be, you know, your thing that you know in your bones, really defend that. Defend your position. Defend your knowing. Okay? Interesting that it comes to you, Scorpio risings, in the house of religion, because I do want to say there is something to be said about being fanatical, right? I think especially right now in 2022, it's a gift and a blessing to be able to give and to be able to be met with space to allow for differing opinions. So I really am getting this energy here, like, yes, believe what you believe, own what you own, allow others to as well. And there may be a huge shift for you. The 9th house is really powerful because it is our it's our truth, right? It's what we hold to be true. And I'm seeing that this full moon in Cancer for you, may really bring those worlds together. You may finally be able to hold acceptance for other people, or you may finally be met with acceptance. You could be met with that energy where your truth was never accepted. You never got to have a voice. You never got to share your truth and share your belief. And there may be a huge shift in energies where you enter a new community, or we are in the full moon in Cancer, so that does rule ancestors, home, and family life. So maybe you won't have some final acceptance, but there'll be a shift in, okay, this is who they are, and you're not having to constantly back down, if that makes sense, about who you are and what you believe. Messages from your ancestors, yes, you know, really going back to that defending your beliefs with warrior energies, you know. And something to be said about boundaries is, yes, have your boundaries, make sure your boundaries aren't pushing others out, right? But really, your ancestors want you to hone that warrior energy where you are kind, you are understanding, you open your ear and you lend an ear, and you allow others to speak their truth. But you have firm boundaries in place about that, about your morals, about what you believe, and what your truth and reality is. You are firm and grounded. Another message from your ancestor is tree. You are firm and grounded, right? But there is this in who you are and who you want to be with this full moon in Cancer. But there is this call for balance because we want to accept other people's truth. We don't have to live it. It doesn't have to be our truth. But we do want to create a world where many different truths are welcome. Okay? Scorpio. Moving on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this full moon in Cancer is happening in your 8th house of famously known as sex, death, and taxes. It can also be, it's like shared resources, inheritance, property, partners' resources, assets, and any joint projects, joint ventures, or things that you have with other people, contracts with other people, okay? So you got 5 of air, so again, swords, mental capacity, communication, thoughts, an unwise choice. Learn what you can from the situation, review everyone's motives. So I feel like this full moon in Cancer for you might highlight a business venture, a partnership, or something that may have gone south. Maybe you regret working with this person. Maybe you regret being in a relationship with this person. Maybe you are currently divvying up everything that you had in the marriage, and you're really being called with this full moon in Cancer to try to take what you can positively from this situation, as you move on, you know, reviewing people's motives when we are disappointed, when we are screwed over, when we're hurt by other people. You know, one thing that we gain is better knowing for next time. And if you're not in a position where this is happening, but say you're signing legal documents, say you're getting into a business partnership or into a position where you're sharing resources, take a beat, take a moment. Full moon in Cancer might release like family secrets, things like that. It has a way of doing that since Cancer rules the family. Really take a beat to review everybody's motives. Is everything in the contract or everything that's in place really for the best and highest good of everybody? Or is it leaning one way? So reviewing those things before putting anything into motion. Also, 9 of water, so relationships, feelings, your wishes come true, concerns fade away, a love of life. I love this. Okay, so I think if you can take a beat really see what's under the surface of some of these contracts, some of these shared resources, some of these partnerships, inheritance, will, prenuptial agreement, things like that you can really move on and be happy with the decisions that you made. I think that the full moon will usher in positivity when it comes to you and your agreements, your contracts that you have with other people, ventures, anything to do with your partner's resources. Okay, maybe your partner lost their job and you've been worried for the past year. The full moon may really usher in like that new position for them, and you can return to that joy and love of life. Let's see what your ancestors are saying. Passion, fire. So, with the fire card comes this idea of, interesting because 8th house rules like sex and passions, right? But, fire can be dangerous. Fire can be potent. So there's also this idea that I hear coming up of, and this could go either way. Do you need to ignite fire, flames, and burn down this history of 8th house things? Maybe the will, the inheritance, the contract, the prenuptial agreement, the whatever agreement you have that's tied up in other people's resources either needs to be burned to the ground, started again, okay? Or was that the unwise choice? Did someone, this sounds weird, but I'm just going to say it and I guess explain it later. Did someone burn through your resources? Are you burning through someone else's resources? What can you learn from the past mistakes of things that either went up in flames or that need to change so that you can get to this place? Okay, fire has those two options here that I see. So you either need to pour the water on the flames or you need to ignite it, start fresh, and start anew. Okay? So that's what I see coming through for Sagittarius. Really nice. Ending with the 9 of water there. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This full moon in Cancer will affect your 7th house of relationships, marriage, contracts, business partnerships, okay? You got 7 of water, a complex decision, the need to do research, stop procrastinating. And then you also got King of water, trustworthy, compassionate, respected, cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice. Charity work. Okay. So what I'm really seeing here is maybe there's going to be a shift in business partnerships, or there's a shift happening for Capricorn risings in their romantic relationships. Decision making amongst the partners, and maybe there's this idea of not knowing what to do but needing to make a change, kind of avoiding procrastinating on making that change, and really you're being called to research. And maybe there is no perfect answer, maybe there is no perfect thing for you to do, and you're just meant to, you're meant to research and see what feels the best knowing that you can always change. It could be like a living situation between two partners that need to move. It could be parting ways with a business partner or a romantic partnership. Okay. Seeking out that advice if you're really feeling like you don't know how to move forward. Okay. And also, there is, some energy of not being fully open to growth and changes in the relationship. This could be you, or it could be the person that you're with. So they might need to open their hearts to you. You might need to open your heart and become more vulnerable to them. I'm also hearing like couples therapy. Let me see. I'm going to pop in the book for this one just because I feel like there's more that wants to be said. Yeah, really, going back to the idea of therapy or working with a coach, and this could go for business partnership too, really getting emotionally centered. Like, water is about our romantic relationships, our partnerships. It's also about our emotions. So there's this call to become more emotionally literate, emotionally balanced in your relationships. Okay? And we can do that by going to therapy, by working with a relationship coach, or even, reading the book Attached or Love Languages, right? Making more time to spend with our partner to have these open, vulnerable conversations. I'm going to see if anything comes up for this, because I feel like there may be something I'm missing. Yeah, there could be this idea, there is this idea of addictions at play here. So too much social media, too much dissociating and desensitizing from things to be paying attention to your relationship. Okay, let's see what the ancestor message is. Yeah, healer, compassion, finding compassion for your partner, finding compassion for yourself. We're in a pandemic. It's hard to exist in a pandemic and to be in a relationship in a pandemic. Having some compassion for yourself, possibly getting some body work done on or around this full moon. I'm hearing like acupuncture, Reiki, massage can be really healing for you. Maybe you can you could do like couples massage, or if that's not like financially doable for you right now, you can give each other a massage as a way of being more open and vulnerable with each other. There's this idea of touch being really healing for you, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, on or around this full moon. Maybe a couples therapist that does like hands-on body work. If you know any, leave me a comment because I would love to know who that is. That just kind of came to mind. I don't really know if it exists. It would be a really cool thing if it did. So that is for you. That's all that's coming through. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And Aquarius, this full moon in Cancer occurred for you in the 6th house of daily work, health, fitness, routine, ritual. Also can highlight anything to do with your pets. You got 10 of water, a contented and rewarding family life. Your emotional and material needs are met. Trustworthy relationships. So this is a full moon in Cancer. So this tarot comes to you. Water is similar to cups, speaking about emotions and relationships and feelings. So Aquarius, you might find really this full moon really honing in on your your family life, your daily activities. You might find a lot of joy, and you might be getting returning to a lot of balance with this full moon in Cancer. And if you're not feeling it now, you may be feeling it over the next several months. I'm also seeing like work-home life balance is panning out. There'll be a good shift for you there when it comes to balance of time spent in and out of the home, maybe not just for you, but for a partner. Okay? There may have been recently some uncertainty about finances or material needs being met for the future, and this full moon in Cancer is going to bring that back to balance. Excuse me. I'm going to check in the book for this one just because I'm feeling the call to. Yeah, this also highlights if you've been having any like issues in your marriage, or if you've been struggling with your kids, you know, having to teach them at home and everything else going on with the pandemic. This really comes as a return to proper balance, happy marriage, a good life with your kids, good times, basically just all around in your family, which is very nice. Oh, how cute. Yeah, so the idea, this is the message from your ancestor, storyteller, imagination. So I feel like with this full moon in Cancer, you're going to be getting back to that mother energy a lot, right? The one who reads to their kids and, you know, makes up stories and play pretends and really taps into that, you know, taps into your imagination. You might be doing it for them, but I hear that it's going to be very beneficial to you. Let me see if there's anything else. Also, this full moon in Cancer might encourage you to write your own story down. Get your own story down on pen and paper or on computer, your life story, so that it lives somewhere. Also, if you're being called to read Women Who Run with Wolves, I'm really like getting that calling to share that book, especially if you're a woman. To learn the stories of your ancestors. Our ancestors aren't just our blood ancestors and lineage ancestors, but if you are a woman, then, you know, the female lineages are, you know, female lineage is your ancestor and male men, right? So really like getting back to your roots too. If you want to talk to any elders in your family, any people who share stories of their lives and of your culture and of, you know, what life was like back then. And the importance, really highlighting the importance of sharing that with your children and becoming, you know, creating traditions. Okay, full moon in Cancer, I really feel like it's highlighting work with ancestors, ritual work, traditions that we carry on, right, from our ancestors being highlighted. So that's what I see for Aquarius. And Pisces, this full moon is occurring in your 5th house, which rules romance, love affairs, recreation, play, creativity, fertility, and children. 9 of Air, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, sleepless nights. So Pisces, you're a really intuitive sign. It's likely you may be struggling with sleep or with insomnia during this full moon, okay? And you're really being called to rest a lot more, maybe over the next several months too, as needed. And this new moon in Cancer might really be highlighting your thoughts, the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you tell yourself that things are going to go, right? Expecting the worst. I'm also hearing that this full moon in Cancer might really highlight inner child work for you, since this is the 5th house, the house that rules play and joy and childlike wonder. It might be bringing up those past pains for you. You know, we are in a full moon in Cancer. Cancer rules traditions, ancestors, and I believe inherited trauma. So working with an inherited trauma coach, I do that in my one-on-one sessions with clients to heal imprints of inherited trauma and to access inherited gifts. That might be something really beneficial for you. But I see this, you know, this may look like a negative sign, but I see this as a positive thing for you, Pisces, as the full moon in Cancer is naturally releasing some of these heavier inherited, imprints of inherited trauma that you have been holding on to and carrying. So there will likely be, and likely already was, some natural release for that. And the message from your ancestor is teacher, knowledge. Okay, so I hear this as a call to seek out guidance, seek out a teacher when it comes to doing this one-on-one inherited trauma resolution work, or this inner child work. The more knowledge and understanding that you have of where you've been, of what's going on with the child within, the easier it is to heal, just to have someone to walk the path with you. Okay? And I'm also hearing, like, to teach you to have more cleared energy, better thought patterns, better affirmation, self-affirmation, and a better way of communicating with yourself, communicating with your inner child, right? Air is communication. And just the way that you speak to yourself. So maybe this full moon in Cancer might be bringing forth a teacher for you to learn from, and it could just be someone's podcast. It could be an author and you get their book, from a thrift store, or thrift books, or from the library. Remember, all these levels of teaching and learning and access to resources that we have don't always have to be these huge financial commitments. They can be if that's what you feel called to, and they can also be free. Okay? So accessing a teacher, or having a teacher come up on or around the full moon, that can really help you hone in on healing the inner child. I'm also hearing fertility. If any of you have been struggling with fertility, I don't know why I'm hearing there's a separate card for shaman, but finding a shaman, finding a teacher, finding an acupuncturist or spiritual teacher. It doesn't have to be in necessarily healing arts. Well, and if you feel like you've done all these things, trying to access something on a spiritual plane. Okay? That's what I'm hearing for Pisces. Aries, this full moon comes to you in your 4th house, so it really double emphasizes ancestry, roots, tradition, parents, and the home. You got the Wheel, Archangel Michael, a time of positive change. A situation suddenly moves forward. Fortune is on your side. I am going to pull the other card out just to see what's coming through for both of it. Another major arcana card, the Emperor Archangel Michael. Both Michael, huh? Organization and logic, structure and discipline, leadership. So I see this actually as this one coming first. I'm going to talk about that one first. In order to get to this time of positive change, I feel like currently, or maybe in the very recent past, you've been called to get organized, right? Structured, disciplined, and logistical about manners of the home. Okay, it could be also work that you are doing to heal inherited trauma, ancestry work, right? Because we are dealing with the fourth house, which is roots, traditions, inherited trauma resolution, right? Working with our ancestors, clearing any of that generational trauma. So if you haven't yet, you're being called to again organize, get structured and disciplined within your home, because it will allow you to move better into a role of leadership. Okay, it's so funny to me that we're both the Michaels are here. So the emphasis is strong with Archangel Michael, and it will be because of this organization, this logical thinking, this structure and discipline that you've put, that you've brought into your home, that the positive change will come. I feel like some of you Aries rising may have been stuck. So if you have been stuck in a home situation, stuck with your current living arrangements, stuck with working through the mother wound, the father wound, things are really moving forward with this full moon in Cancer. Yeah, and good things are coming. Let's look into the book, just because I feel like there is something about this double Archangel Michael here. Yeah, he's got major father energy, which is interesting to have him here during the full moon in Cancer. So I really hear that as a call, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, to balance that mother-father energy, right? Father's organized, he's logical, he's structured, he's disciplined. Mother is compassionate and empathetic and nourishing and caring, right? Yeah, so the Emperor here is really highlighting, your desire to succeed, your desire to be stable. And it's a reminder that, in order to see these desires come to fruition, it is going to require this father energy, this discipline, right? It's also a call to take a leadership role in your career. Okay, so with the full moon in Cancer, you may be getting a new offer for leadership, or maybe you already are a leader in your role at work, and it's really calling on you to, really hone in and own that role. It's a sign of security, so I do think that because of organization, logic, and structure that you're going to be bringing into your home, that you're going to be feeling more secure where you are. Now let's look at the other Michael, okay? Because it's just too interesting that they both came up. Yeah, so this, the wheel is often a sign of good luck, like a happy accident. I really feel like for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising in particular, that old blocks are really shifting. Maybe, again, old blocks around inherited trauma, around the father or mother wound, especially being in the fourth house. Maybe old blocks around lack mentality that are getting out of the way so that you can move forward into a new home. Okay. And the message coming through from the ancestor for Aries, beautiful, a magician, right? So again, you are the magician. You are the one creating magic into your life. And it may not seem like it, but this structure, this organization, this logic, this discipline is part of the magic that you're being called to with a double archangel, Michael, that you're being called to bring into your life and into your day to make sure that that magic can exist, right? So that the magic can show up, so that there's still time for magic is what I'm hearing too, right? If you're having a hard time getting this going, remembering that even empathic, intuitive healers need the organization, logic, structure, and discipline and leadership required, because it's required to, make space to weave more magic into your day and into your world. And I do see this really paired as like a happy accident, some magic coming into your world. Also honing that role as leader in your career, honing that role as magician. I think many of you, Aries rising, really create a lot of magic and have a lot of access to magic, into healing powers, and helping others see the magic that's available to them in the world in their mundane days. And really stepping into that role with this full moon in Cancer. Okay. So Taurus, this full moon in Cancer occurred for you in the 3rd house. So communication, the mind, rules neighbors. It rules like your environment, where you are now. Also siblings. And your car. It rules your vehicle. 3 of Earth, the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. So I see this for Taurus, full moon in 3rd house, as maybe honing more in, getting more connected and comfortable within your neighborhood, within your local community, standing out for your hard work. And I think maybe many of you have either just started a new endeavor or joined a new place, and you're being recognized, you're being praised for, being a great addition to the team, is what I'm hearing. Okay, Earth rules Pentacles, so this has to do with career, material success. So with this full moon in Cancer, I do see this as connected to your career, Taurus. So it's moving forward in your career, moving up, maybe getting a raise. Alternatively, or as well, it can also be signify that you're joining some group. Okay, so 3rd house rules local community. Maybe you'll be joining a team, or starting to work for your farmers markets, or just getting out in the community more in some way, is what I see. Let's see if anything else comes up. We'll look in here. You may join an organization or a team. You may also be doing some creative work on or around the full moon, or in the next several months after the full moon, that you will be locally recognized for the work that you do. And the message from your ancestor, celestial, boundless. Oh, I kind of missed that first line. It says the power of creativity. And then we move into this gorgeous card. So what I'm seeing here for Taurus is that you might be spending a lot more time outdoors on or around this full moon. I'm seeing like this community, this team, whatever it is that you're joining is likely going to be connected to something outdoors. Okay, I'm also seeing like one of you or many of you painting the ceiling into this celestial, boundless sky. This can also be a call to either get more grounded or get more ungrounded, whatever feels resonant to you. So if you feel like you're too earthbound, too structured, too practical, too constantly focused on money making and building and working, this is really a call to get more boundless, get more ungrounded, get lost in those more spiritual pursuits. You know, allow yourself to be taken away and to not follow structure or rules so much. The alternative is that you need more grounding, need more structure, need more stability, need more care around your finances and a schedule and plans and putting things in action or in motion. Okay? So whichever resonates for you, I feel like the full moon in Cancer might really usher in this need, this desire to either be more lost in the stars or be more grounded. You know, we always need a little bit of what we don't often get. And I'll trust you to know what that is. And if you'd like to share with me below, I would love to hear it. All right, Gemini, this full moon in Cancer is occurring for you in your second house of finances, money, work, income, values, material possessions. Okay. So your first tarot card, because you got 2, you got 7 of Earth, seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worry. So I see many Geminis kind of at this, I keep seeing like this fork in the road. Not fork in the road, but this pause, like it says here, okay? And the unnecessary worry comes from, you know, trying to figure out what's on the other end of that block, right? Where you're being paused, where you're being stopped in the road. And this comes to you as a reminder that you have put in the work, you have put in the time, you have planted the seeds for the harvest that you want later very well. And sometimes this time is required, this pause in action. Maybe you've been feeling like there's a pause in income flow, a pause in your finances. And 6 of Earth is coming to tell you that on or around this full moon, you will receive gifts of money, time, or effort, okay? New career opportunities are going to come ushering through. You'll be receiving a loan and you'll be able to pay off any debts, okay? Which is very second house-ish, Gemini risings, okay? So, this is kind of why the worry is unnecessary, right? I think it's interesting that's 7 and then we're going backwards to 6. So it's like you're worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. You're worrying over maybe instability in finances. You're worried over money not coming through. You're worried about this natural pause, and you're really being called to move more with the flow, you know. There is always a shift and a flow. Not that you can't be open to 100% wonderful income all the time, but it's okay to have these shifts, these rock rocky moments, because it really just is a temporary pause in action that allows you to do other things, right? That allows you to just receive. Maybe you don't have to do so much, put in so much of the work right now, okay? Because the gifts of money, time, and effort are here. Isn't that so interesting? So the seeds are well planted, okay? And this is you walking through the forest, and you see all of these things that end up being your gifts later on, right? So there's this some energy here about like you're not recognizing that this is all in motion coming to you, walking blindly almost through this forest without awareness that these are all available gifts to you. Abundance is yours, right? So really allowing this worry to release itself with the full moon, maybe even writing out some things that you're worried about and then burying them is what I'm hearing. Because this abundance is on its way to you, right? I think it's so funny how she's kind of ignoring it, not aware of it, and then he's putting it away. He's gathered it. These are his gifts, right? So just allowing yourself the space for that abundance to come to you. And the message from your ancestor, coach, mentor. So if you're feeling called to step in the role as coach or mentor, or maybe you would like guidance or a coach or a mentor around career, around finances, what I'm hearing is that this full moon in Cancer, for those who are seeking a mentor or a coach, one will present themselves to you. Of course, you have to take the action of, getting in contact with them and such, but they will appear, right? You'll be able to see them. They will make themselves known to you so you can start working with them, or the new career opportunity that is coming to you is as a mentor, as a coach. I just really love this picture on this card in this mountain. Okay, that is everybody. Thank you so much for showing up to my full moon in Cancer reading. If this reading resonated with you, I would love for you to like, subscribe, comment, share any of your resonance with me. Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.